You're now watching This AFC South Show, brought to you by Curtis Podcast Network, hosted by Curtis Brown, Blake Bellamy, Isaiah Michelli, and Jeff Steckel. Hello, everybody, and welcome to This AFC South Show number 85. We are here today to talk the Texans-Titans. Jeff could not be with us tonight. He had an emergency come up with work, so he's got that, and that's fine. But I'm your host, Curtis Brown, here on Curtis Podcast Network, and with me today, Blake Bellamy, our Titans fan.
Yes,
and
sir.
we're going to be, sorry?
I just said tighten up.
Tighten up. We are Texans, baby. That's all I'm saying. It's Texans hate week. It's Titans hate week.
Just a lot of hate.
A lot of hate. All of the hate. Hate can move mountains.
Yeah. Much love, Curtis.
Speaking of this game, I will be in attendance. I'll be sitting up in the nosebleeds, and I'll probably be with a sign, trying to get subs. It's going to be cold, folks. They're saying game time temperatures could be -5 with wind chill. We're in the South.
Yeah.
It's
Nashville, Tennessee.
It's not okay.
Yeah, not Maine or like Kalispell, Montana.
Yeah.
Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah. Anyway, it's going to be a fun time. I've not missed a Texans-Titans game in Nashville in probably like 2 or 3 years now. But they usually do pretty well when I come and watch. And I don't know what it is, but last couple times, it's always the road team that gets the victory in these division games. Honestly, you know what? Hold on. I'm just going to save it for my piece. Go ahead, Blake. Let's talk about your Titans. We know Tannehill might be gone for the entire remainder of the season, which means Willis would be at the helm, or Josh Dobbs, who was just signed to the active roster. Shouts to Vol Nation, VFL, GBO. But yeah, there's another name on the IR in Dylan Radins.
Yeah.
So who's going to be what's happening in Tennessee right now?
A lot of injuries are happening. Nashville, besides music and hot chicken, it's known for its hospital industry. There's like Vanderbilt and Skyline and a whole bunch of Centennial. A lot of hospitals in Nashville, and they get a lot of business for the Tennessee Titans. And yeah, we're second in the NFL with players on injured reserve. We're the most players suited up for games in the NFL, which we're on pace to break our record from last year. And it's embarrassing, man. Yeah. It does look like Tannehill will be out for the year. I don't feel good with Malik Willis, but it's nice to see him because we know Titans, unless something crazy happens, we're not going to win a Super Bowl. I understand that. Going this year, this just wasn't a team. We had no wide receivers, no offensive line, and it's shown. There's a glaring hole, 2 glaring holes that we just didn't fill. So it's been a shame. So it's going to be nice to see Malik Willis. It's really going to be a 3-game really tryout, see what he can do. If he's god-awful, I am not opposed to taking quarterback in the first round next year. If he's good and he looks very promising, we still have Tannehill. I wouldn't be opposed to bringing Tannehill back, but if Malik Willis plays all right, I imagine they'll just keep him as our starter next year. But again, I've said this, especially with Jeff, if you're previewing your game, you're already talking about the offseason, it's not looking good for the season. And that's what I'm just doing now. It sucks. But this game, man, everyone's injured. I expect Derrick Henry to be his game, 30 touches. The last, 5 games, he's had at least 2 touchdowns and at least 150 yards against this team. He loves playing against Houston Texans, and he's been very angry. He's been vocally frustrated with this Titans team. I imagine he's going to go out there and play angry. I would hate to be a linebacker for the Texans right now, especially a defensive back. Because I think Derrick Henry is going to run all over you guys on Saturday. For the defense of the Titans, they actually showed some life last week against the Chargers. So the defense, I'm liking them a little bit more, but they're still struggling. I think I wouldn't say shut down the Texans offense, because the Texans offense shockingly is improving. So we'll see what happens with their
shockingly. Hold on, let me just pause right there. We were the floor, so there was only up to go.
I know, but you guys lost Pierce, and you guys are still moving the football. I mean, you guys almost upset a very good team last week. Um, so I mean, you guys are showing some fight, and I'm kind of afraid to play the Texans. I have the Titans winning this game, just because the defense has shown some life, and I'm curious to see what Malik Willis does, and I just think Derrick Henry is just going to take over this football game. So it's hard to bet against Derrick Henry at this point. If Titans didn't have Henry, then no, I think you guys would win, but. I'm picking Tennessee, but I'm not loving this pick. But it does look better that it looks like Autry is going to be back, and so is Traylon Burks. So that's another reason that's kind of me tipping the scale into Tennessee on this one.
Yeah.
And plus, we have Stonehouse.
Yeah. I saw the injury report earlier. For the Texans. It's a long one. Oh, what's the injury report looking like for the Titans right now?
Everyone's hurt except for like Kevin Byard, really.
Fair enough.
Really is. Everyone's hurt. Even Dennis Daly, who's remarkably been the healthiest player on this team, unfortunately. He got an abdomen injury on his rest day. So I don't know what's going on here, man. It's the whole team's hurt. Vrabel's probably has a bum hamstring or something right now.
For the Texans, it looks like Cooks will be back.
Yeah.
There was a couple question marks with some other backup linemen that did not participate, but now they're limited. Really, tomorrow will actually kind of solidify our game statuses, I believe. But it doesn't look like Collins is going to play. He has not participated in practice. Kenyon Green may not play, which means they're probably going to keep Titus Howard at left guard, and they're going to keep Charlie Heck at right tackle, which worked out pretty well last week. Only being sacked once against the Chiefs and no times against the Cowboys the week before. The big difference for me this week and the previous matchup, Malik Collins did not play in the first time we played the Titans. We had literally, I think, the first 2 or 3 defensive tackles on the depth chart out. Malik Collins will be playing. Now, he's not necessarily like the best thing to ever have on defense, but he's definitely the best defensive tackle we have by far, and it's really not even close. And that's accounting for the growth of some of these players. But I think Malik Collins is going to be the big differentiator. I think the Titans will still, and Derrick Henry will probably still hit somewhere around 150 rushing yards, which specifically just Derrick Henry. But I think it'll be like, it'll be like crucial stops. Because Malik Willis and this Titans offense, while they're definitely gelling, and last week's short performance from Willis was definitely marked improvement. He went through some reads and made some good throws, but I think Lovie Smith learned a lot from the last engagement. I mean, this is still a Titans team that, while it ran the ball pretty well, only managed to put up 17 points against the Texans defense. Stingley won't be playing, I believe. He's on IR, so... but Steven Nelson will be back. And I kind of like the way that things are shaping up for the injuries, at least, for people to be able to be available for this game. I think Davis Mills has a chance here to not necessarily prove his worth as a starting quarterback, but to come out and play well against a Titans secondary that has been shaky this season at best. So it's going to be a thing of, did the last 2 massive efforts for the Texans just completely drain them? Or are those 2 things, those 2 games that were close against vastly superior teams, vastly more talented teams, are those going to piss them off enough to come out against the Titans and play well? I don't know. We'll know by the first quarter who's going to win this game. Because it's going to be that cold. Hitting people is going to hurt a little bit. The wind is just going to be awful. I don't imagine throwing the ball is going to be super, super helpful for most people, because that ball is going to feel like a brick in your hands. But I definitely trust Mills more than I trust Malik Willis right now, and I trust the two quarterback system that Houston does to open up some things and create some separation for players in the passing game. I mean, Mills had his longest run of his career last week for a touchdown, 17 yards. I literally thought he was going to slide at like the 5, and then he just was like, "Nope, I'm going to do a slow juke move," and it worked. Um, I think there's some fight in this Texans team. I just hope that it hasn't all been spent yet.
Yeah, and I think you guys might win the battle up front too. Titans, I mean, Ben Jones, it looks like he's going to miss this game on Saturday. He just entered the concussion protocol. And I think this might be his last year in the NFL in general. He's notoriously been healthy, but he's been struggling a lot with concussions, and that's dangerous. I know a lot of players don't, they take that a lot more serious than they do in the past. So I expect him to possibly be gone. And, whoever plays center, it's going to be a new center, new quarterback. This is going to be a rough game for Tennessee. I expect there to be at least 2 turnovers, and that even with Derrick Henry just dropping the ball constantly. I don't know what's going on there, but it could be ugly. Again, I hope Tennessee wins, and I have them winning, but I would not be shocked at all if Houston gets their second win of the season.
I mean, that was who we got our second one of the season against last year.
Yeah.
It was a little bit
split the division.
That's what I'm saying. It's the weirdest thing, and with the way that the Titans have been playing, the trajectory has been going down since they're on a 4-game losing stretch here. The injuries piling up. It's a recipe for this lowly Texans team to make a really good impression and to basically help this coaching staff stick around for another season.
They should. They really should. There's been a lot of fight, and the players are responding to the coaching staff pretty well. As you mentioned in previous podcasts, Pep Hamilton might be gone, but I don't know if he's still calling plays, but it's been a lot more creative lately, especially with this 2 quarterback system going on. That's working.
The moment they knew that, they started realizing that Dameon Pierce was all that people were giving a crap about on the Texans offense, and once you figured that out, you could basically just shut us down. Pep started developing this system, and I mean, I think it was maybe Dallas. It was a 50-50 snap share between Driscoll and Davis Mills. It might have been Kansas City as well, but no, that can't be right because Jeff definitely didn't throw as many passes this week. But we're going to be seeing some interesting offense. It's going to be mostly ground game, as the AFC South is known for. But I think the 200-yard streak for Derrick Henry ends this week against the Texans. It's just been going on for far too long for it to not end this week. I don't expect this to have very many points, like at all. I think the spread is like 3.5.
Yeah, I mean, the Titans, they average, I think, like 17 points a game, which is embarrassing.
Yeah. And I think Houston averages like 19.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. Might be 20, but
yeah, I expect to be very little passing. It'll probably be our tight ends will probably lead us. Tight ends or running backs will lead the teams in receiving.
Yeah, more than likely, unless Cooks decides, hey, I got this.
It really depends on when he wants to play. Cooks he's so done with Houston, it's not even funny.
Yeah, he's still the leading receiver, even though he's missed 4 or 5 games. And
yeah, I mean, he's talented, one heck of a football player. It's just it's whenever he feels like playing.
Yeah,
he's like a more talented Will Fuller.
Yeah. Without, I mean, like, this is really the first injury-marred season of his career, but
not really just injuries, the availability or
oh no, yeah, man,
love for the game,
yeah. Oh man. Well, you got anything else about your Titans?
It's a sad year, man. I will say though, one thing I've had a bone to pick a lot with Titans social media and the groups lately is a lot of people are wanting the Titans to lose out to get a better draft pick. I think it's the dumbest thing in the entire world. I think if you're for your team, unless you're like fighting for that number 1 overall pick, I think you should want your team to win. And it's unfortunate seeing how many people want the Titans to lose. It's like, come on, man. This is a team you root for every Sunday. It's like just because, picking at 10th or like 16th in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter because you find great players throughout the draft. Just because you have earlier pick doesn't mean you're gonna pick the right player.
Yeah.
So I think that's a dumb notion. I'd rather pick 21 and win some games than pick like 8th.
Yeah.
Unless you're getting that for sure perennial Pro Bowler, which that's usually not going to happen.
Right.
And you're picking 1 for that anyway. We're not picking 1.
Yeah. Well, and that's the fun part about Houston's situation. The next closest team to them has 3 wins.
Yeah.
That's the Cardinals, and I think that's it. So Houston could, in theory, win 2 more games and still get the first overall pick. I would love to see that happen because we play nothing but division opponents from here on out.
Yeah, I would see, and I always want to win. The only time I'd want the Titans to lose, it's like if you were tied with another team, and it's like you really want this franchise quarterback is going to be a slam dunk in the NFL. That's the only time I'd want to lose.
Yeah,
get that first pick.
Yeah, and I don't, as I've said many times on this show, I don't like the top 3 guys at QB.
Yeah.
They just did not produce the way that I would imagine a top 5 quarterback overall. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like Herbert. Mahomes produced pretty well in college.
Yeah, Herbert was incredible in high school or in college. He did better every single year. I loved Herbert coming out of college. I thought he was a slam dunk, and he's kind of disappointed me this year. But there's a lot of mitigating factors that are kind of pushing him back. Not really on his own because there's been a lot of drops, a lot of injuries, and just not great coaching either.
Yeah, Staley's interesting.
Staley, I don't think he's going to be back.
Probably not. Well, unless they make a run here, which they're doing. I think they've won. I think they've won 3 straight, or 3 or 4, or something like that.
And they haven't been that great. I mean, you can't tell me that they look good against Tennessee.
No, but again, I mean, this is a team. The Titans knew that the Chargers were never going to run the ball because the Titans can stop people from running the ball. Even when the Chargers are playing teams who can't stop the run, they don't run the ball. Like Eckler might have had like a couple touchdowns on the ground against Houston, but I don't think he got over 100 yards.
I think he only has like 600 yards rushing. Most of his yards are through the air.
Yeah.
He's basically a very strong wide receiver that plays in the backfield.
Basically, I mean, the man, if I'm not mistaken, dude has the most receptions by running back this season at like 92.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I don't even know if that's accurate now because I'm pretty sure I heard that during the game against the Titans. So that's probably a higher number at this point. But that's still, like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Speaking of Herbert, though, I do want to ask you something. And I wish Isaiah was here just to witness this, but hopefully he watches this, and then he can yell at me probably, and possibly you for this question. So I saw a thing that FanDuel posted today, and they said, which quarterbacks would you take over Trevor Lawrence? And the list is Justin Fields, Tua, Herbert, and Hurts. Which, if any, would you take over Trevor Lawrence as your franchise quarterback?
The only one that I would consider would be Herbert.
Really?
Yeah.
I would take all of them but Fields, and I would flip a coin on Tua.
I wouldn't take Tua.
Because the injuries and the skill.
Injuries, I think he's got some skill, but I think he needs to be in the right system.
Yeah.
I don't like Fields. I mean, Fields is just a tall running back who occasionally throws the ball.
Yeah, apparently fumbles a ton.
Yeah, a lot. 15 fumbles, 10 picks. He's a turnover machine.
Yeah.
Who was the other option? Hurts?
It was Herbert and Jalen Hurts.
This is Hurts' 3rd year in the league, and this is by far his best year.
Yeah.
But it's taken 3 years to get to this point of like...
Quarterbacks take a while to develop, though.
Yeah, but Herbert literally shattered rookie records.
Yeah, Herbert's a beast.
That's what I'm saying. Is like he's been this guy from day one.
Yeah, I think Herbert's the best. I would say Herbert is the best, and then Hurts, Tua, Trevor, then Fields.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, that's. I kind of agree, I guess, but I would put it Herbert, Lawrence. I would put maybe Hurts and Lawrence are almost interchangeable levels at this point. Yeah. But I don't know. I wouldn't really put many above Lawrence right now. Definitely nobody in the AFC South.
No. Maybe Josh Dobbs.
That's true. Hey, what's the chances he plays Saturday?
Well, the way his offensive line looks, I mean, he might be playing second drive if Willis gets murdered. Yeah. Which would not be surprising. I'm glad he runs like a 4-4 because, yeah, Willis would get destroyed tomorrow or Saturday, whatever.
Yeah, Saturday. All right, well, I think we're going to wrap it up here. You got any closing remarks at all?
I hate the Texans. I'll tell you that much. I hope they lose. I hope
Texans, baby.
I hope Houston just gets shut out. That's best case scenario. The Titans haven't won since Todd Downing got DUI, so hopefully he drinks a couple, I don't know, whatever his alcohol of choice is, and drinks a lot of it, and then calls a great football game. That's what I'm hoping for.
But he drinks Cosmopolitans.
I don't know. I can't tell if he drinks something really girly or it's just like, a bourbon. Neat.
Bourbon. Neat. Yeah, I could see that too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, folks, thanks for watching this preview of the Texans-Titans game for this Saturday at noon Central Standard Time. Again, I will be in attendance, and I will be holding up my sign, which I will do my best to make look good and legible. Legible is the important part. So be looking for me if you're at the game. And go hit the like and subscribe button. We're still trying to hit 1,000. We're at 165 subscribers right now. So we're 840 or 835 away. So help us out. Hit the buttons. We don't have a like goal on this one, but if we could hit, yeah, we do. Let's go 20. We're going to go 20. 20 likes on this video. Thank you and goodbye.